Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Northwest Craftsman. Before I get too deep into the weeds, I wanted to let you know that there is going to be a giveaway, so stay tuned for the end of the episode where I give you all the details on how you can get exactly what we're talking about. One of the tools that I use in my shop on a regular basis is my router table. Now, the router table that was designed by Bosch, the RA1181, is incredibly dusty because though they have fence dust collection, there's no dust collection around the router, and if you've used this router table at all, you will know that you get a whole bunch of chips down where your router is and it just doesn't clear very well, or you get chips all over the floor underneath if you leave the tiny shrouds off. Well, there's a guy on Etsy with a shop called Digital Contrast who designs custom 3D printed shrouds for routers, and he has one for the fixed base Bosch that I have mounted into my router table. About 9 months ago, I got one of those, put it on my router, and it made a massive difference in the dust collection on my router. Recently, he reached out to me and said that he had an improved design that he wanted me to take a look at, and I said, of course, I'll take a look at that for you. So I am here with you today. He just sent it to me. I'm going to go ahead and unbox it so that we can take a look at some of the improvements that he has, some of the things that he changed about it, and just look at how well it works overall. Because if it's anything like the first one that he has, this is just going to be absolutely amazing. All right, let's get going. So before I disassemble what I currently have, I wanted to show you what it looks like. Here you can see the fence dust collection that goes into the top. That is standard for the RA1181. This is the edition that I had where I just got the adapter that fits onto the fixed base. And then I got a 2-inch adapter that come out. Now, I made a mistake when I initially purchased it, and I just got the 2.5-inch that comes off of the custom designed piece, and then I got an adapter to go to the 4-inch. Well, the guy at Digital Contrast also has one that just goes straight to a 4-inch, so I'm going to go ahead and replace this one with one that goes to a 4-inch, and then you can do whatever you need depending on what dust collection you have. But this is what it looks like when it's all set up. We'll also come back to this once I have the new one in there, but I'm going to pop this guy out so that we can actually see what it looks like when it's on the base, so that we can also see some of the differences that are in there. Alrighty, now that I have the router out of the router table, let's go ahead and pop the package open and see what's inside. Amazing. This is a phenomenal use for the Uline magazines that you end up getting because you can get everything online from them, but they give you all the free packing material in the world. Great idea. So nicely enough, you actually sent me two different parts. One was the 4-inch adapter and one was an adapter that fits the 2.25-inch. I might have been saying 2.5-inch earlier, but it's a 2.25-inch adapter. So it comes with the adapter itself. It comes with the front plate that goes on the other side of the router, and then it comes with this little shim, this is new to the new design, and then it also separated out these little poles that fit into the slides on the router base. Now, what's different about the old design is on the old design, that adapter was fitted in with these poles that block off these ports right here, and there was no shim. So theoretically, what that should improve is if there was any looseness or slop in this design, this shim fits in underneath to get it nice and tight. And then these ones separate from the adapters, make it a little bit easier to plug these holes without so much interference. I do remember on the last one, you had to kind of get it shoved in there before it finally worked. And then because of the way that it fit, it was a little bit loose and sloppy and could come out. But this adapted the same snap-in design as the front. So it looks like it's going to snap in on both of them. Now, one thing to note, I was just doing a test fit. The screws that are used all the way around to attach the router to the fixed base do protrude through on the opposite side a little bit. So I had to back off the back screw in order to get this to fit. But when you back that out a little bit, here's how it fits together. Now that all of that is installed, last but not least is the newest part, which is the shim. Now the shim is supposed to go into the bottom right here, so I flip this upside down and it's going to, see the orientation of the shim here, it's going to slide in. I don't know if you can see the little bit of light coming through between the shroud and the base, but what that causes is a little bit of wiggling in here. And so in order to keep this firm, we put the shim in, because after the shim, this is how firm it is. And that is rock solid now. There's absolutely no movement in there, which for the purposes of being inside of a router table isn't as big of a deal because this isn't experiencing a lot of stress on it because I'm not moving around the table. But if you're using the fixed base out and about when you're trying to work on parts with the fixed base, that could potentially be a bigger issue because it just kind of slides and moves around. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this guy put back together, and then I'm going to do a test where we can see it hooked up to the dust collection so you guys can see how awesome it truly is. And then I will have the giveaway details coming right up. Okay, before I get going too far, as a note, if you are going to be installing it into this table, one of the things that I noticed is that it was a little bit tight as you came in right around one of the bolts right here, and so it took a lot of finagling to get that in. I will give that feedback to the seller because it'd be pretty easy just to rotate it this direction ever so slightly, because I don't know if this was designed specifically to go on this table or if it was meant just to sit in the freestand or the fixed base. But if you can just rotate it around a little bit or tilt it down a little bit so it doesn't interfere with the webbing on the bottom, that would make it so much easier. But it is possible to install, and I am so excited to have 4-inch on here. Now to the test. As a note, when you're running your router, you should never run it without that guard that goes into the center, the guards that look like this, because you have a risk of your workpiece getting caught in that gap, which can cause a lot of issues. The only reason I'm doing it right now is so that you can see the dust collection as it's pulling it all away. So trying to video the test is a little bit difficult, but the dust collection works really well. Now, it's not a major improvement over the previous design because I don't think that was the purpose of the design intent, and it's hard for me to compare putting a 4-inch onto my system and having a 2¼ inch on my system because my whole entire dust collection system is set up for 4-inch, and so it works better when I have 4-inch all the way through to the end. Overall, though, the design changes that were usability changes are awesome. The fact that he split everything apart and included that wedge is going to be perfect. The wedge didn't matter so much in my case because I'm putting it into a router table and so it's nice and solid and secure anyways, but if you're using that fixed base free as you're moving across things, that wedge is going to be amazing. So full disclosure, the only thing that I got for this video was the 4-inch shroud and the 2½ or the 2¼ shroud. I'm not getting paid or anything else for this. He reached out to me and said, hey, I saw your initial video. I have a design improvement on that. Would you like to see it? And I was like, well, sure, because if it's useful to you guys, I want to be able to show you guys what it is. So I did get that one for free, but I'm not getting anything else out of this. However, while he sent that to me, he also sent me a couple of coupons codes because if I thought it was useful and if I thought you would be useful, hint, hint, I do, you guys can get your own for 80% off on his shop. And I'm going to send out that 2¼ inch because I don't have a use for it around the shop, but if you've got 2¼ inch dust collection or you're still using a shop vac to pull everything off your router table, you can have that as well. So here are the details on the giveaway. Okay, so number one, you need to comment on this video with the favorite project you've ever used your router for. It can be literally anything, just leave it in a comment down below. Number two, you need to go to my Instagram page, which is right here, and you need to like the page. And then 3, you need to do both of these things by Sunday because after church on Sunday, I'm going to be doing the drawing. Now for the details of how that's going to work, I am going to post a video both to our Instagram and to the YouTube channel. And if you are one of the winners, go to the YouTube channel About page and there is an email address on there so that you can email me. The reason why YouTube buries it in that location is because it keeps the spam bots from getting to my email account. So go there and you can find out how to contact me and reach out and say, hey, I was this particular person. And I'm just going to go through the list so that I can divvy out both the adapter and the coupon codes. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me this long. I can't wait to see you guys on Sunday, and hopefully one of you guys can win this, or I know that at least a couple of you guys are going to win a shroud or the coupon code for a shroud so that it can make your shop that much cleaner. Anyways, thanks again for joining, guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you Sunday. Bye.